The School of Design and Arts is one of 3 campuses of the De La Salle College of St. Benilde. One of the many programs offered by DLS-CSB is AB Fashion Merchandising, wherein students are molded to be the next big designer of their generation. One recent project under their apparel design class is for students to achieve 3-dimensional designs with moving mechanisms. The garment dressing simulation is a process which transforms multiple 2-dimensional garment patterns into 3-dimensional configurations that follows the surface of the human body and enables the visualization of the draping effect of the garment. The main objective of this project was to be able to incorporate industrial design with fashion design, because the former head of fashion design and merchandising had a background in industrial design. So to challenge her students, she made things interesting by them having to use metal sheets instead of yards of fabric. Those are garments purely made out of metal and is inspired by a car or the like, and would be able to transform into another version of the garment. With the help of students of the BS Industrial Design of DLS-CSB, these students have made garments that some international designers parallel to what some designers have already been exploring. Transformers was the main inspiration for the idea of channeled by the fashion design and industrial design students.
The idea behind the project was all about vehicle and the movie Transformers.
I was trying to analyze if I heard my professor right when she said we were supposed to make Transformer-inspired garments out of metals with moving compartments. It was such a crazy challenge if you think about it, but I think all of us were excited and at the same time stressed of the thought of it.
I was kind of excited because it would be my first time to make a dress. And also it would be made out of metal. The first time to work on
I was shocked at first because I didn't know it was possible to actually make garments out of metal and boards.
It is something that can challenge their minds. Projects with limits can only make them be more creative with what little they have, and to be able to team up with the industrial design students was because this FDM had no clue on metal at all before that project.
Each group had to plan carefully on how they were going to execute their desired garments. They had a strict 7-day deadline, and each day was very important, and they made sure none of their hours were wasted. First was to create a concept and an overall look for their garment. Second was to buy their initial materials. And third was to make sure they won't waste time relaxing. They were all in a time crunch.
I guess these students won't really have problems into going to the outside world because they were really trained well in school. They were shown everything, and I believe that they would be at par with the professionals when they go into the outside world, so I'm not really worried at all.
It was a short time frame, but with the help of my roommates, we made sure we'd be able to finish our project and follow their time frame.
I guess we just had to go through it. It wasn't like we had a choice to ask if time could slow down just a little bit. And food was also a big factor in helping us cope with the stress because somehow it just upped our energy level.
With the pressure and other schoolwork in a major project, it was bound to have a little bit of misunderstandings and some parts that wouldn't go together or wouldn't work, but eventually we talked about it and fixed the project before our deadline.
All groups were composed of a maximum of 4 members. They were grouped according to their respective cliques, because in that way, they'd be more aligned in their design concept.
I think the project has taught the students to work together even under pressure. Because from what I saw during production days was that they still found ways to make each other laugh when their garments were barely functioning. And at the end, they still made it work.
With working as groups, each should learn how to respect each other's creative input and opinion. I think the students did behave like professionals in the whole time of the project, but of course, a little bickering was to be expected from the time constraint and lack.
The group was fine, just how they handle their time and how they could use their time.
The garments that were made by the students were outstanding. They were amazing. I knew they do it nicely, but it all looked like they weren't made in a week.
Being one of the people to constantly see their progress, even I got to smile when the project was over. All their hard work paid off because the outputs that they presented were all just so nice.
I was proud of what my group did. I never thought we could make such garments and that those were even possible to make.
Their project. I felt like it was a ready project for my group. And even I was so proud of what we accomplished.
I was really pleased and proud of our outcome. They really showed concept and ideas with good execution.
An extreme leap from the usual cotton and silk, working with pure metal to make Transformers-inspired garments is definitely an achievement for all the students who have made them, be it fashion or industrial design.
I personally think the students got to experience what it's like to really work hands-on project and with others. They'd have to adjust with each other as well as the materials they could use.
The students of AB Fashion Design and Merchandising had a hands-on project that they couldn't rely on others' help, but each other's. Their material as their main item, they had to cope with what they were allowed to use. Just like in possible future clients, that one could possibly have a client with much preferences and specific materials. They learned that as graduating students, they should learn no matter what material they have to use to make the garment to the liking of the client, they should find a way to stretch their design and creativity to meet the client's expectations. Because at the end of the day, they aim to please their clients.